Dear students, welcome back. As you all know, chemistry continues and you are attending today. As you all know, lecture number 3. In the chapter, I should let us mention the name of that chapter again. We are continuing chapter number 3, that is metals and non-metals. This chapter is continuing, understand, since last two lectures. In the last two lectures, as you know, we discussed in some detail regarding metals and non-metal. We discussed about some general point of difference between metals and non-metal that we already discussed in our first lecture, and then in the second lecture in the same chapter we started studying about chemical properties of metals and non-metal. Yesterday, if you can remember, we have already studied one chemical properties of reaction of metals with water, and that chemical property which we discussed yesterday, we discussed in detail, understood? And that time uh, when we were studying that chemical property of reaction of metal with water, we gave you an in detail idea about what happens when metal reacts with water. Okay? The topic which we actually did yesterday, that was we were studying the chemical properties. Okay? Right? And the topic yesterday was 3.2. Let me first, we just mention the number just for your understanding. The topic which was continuing was chemical properties, which we are discussing chemical properties of metals and non-metals. That is the topic. Okay? And yesterday we studied the reaction of metal and water. Understood? That was actually, if we go as per textbook and material, so that was our topic number 3.2.2. That we started first, the reaction between metal and water. The first topic we are taking today, understand, that is the topic 3.2.1. This is what we are taking today, and the title of the topic is reaction of. Actually, title has been given like this: reaction of metals with oxygen. Means how metal react with oxygen. Understand what happens when metal actually react with oxygen. That's the title actually. Means simply, so you all know, either metal or non-metal react with oxygen, understand, they require some help, it happens. Some metal are highly reactive, they immediately react with oxygen at normal room temperature also. But that's not the case with all metals. Some are medium reactive, some are less reactive. So they need to be heated. Actually, I have written the title Reaction of Metal with Oxygen to highlight the topic more. Actually, in textbook they have given the title What Happens When Metal Burns in are burnt in air. Ultimately, so the same thing is going to happen. Whenever they burn in air, definitely they will combine with oxygen. Understand? Now, because the title has been given in the is like reaction of metal with oxygen, but at the same time I also want to add reaction of not only metals but non-metals also with oxygen, because the generalized reaction of metals and non-metal is similar. Both metals as well as non-metals react with oxygen. Both react. Metal also react with oxygen. Non-metal also react with oxygen. And when they react with oxygen, they produces oxides. If metal, they produces metallic oxide. If non-metal, they produces non-metallic oxide. That you all know. And also, so that thing is already clear in your mind. Understand? If I write the general equation for the reaction of metals with oxygen or non-metals with oxygen, can I write this way? Whenever metal is going to react with oxygen or non-metal is going to react with oxygen, definitely they produces oxide. So in generalized way, means in the form of word equation, can we write this way? Metal plus, if we write oxygen, metal plus oxygen, what should I write? Metallic oxide. Okay? Or if not metal, can I write here, because non-metal also react with oxygen, because in acid, base and salt chapter we discussed about both type of oxide, metallic oxide as well as non-metallic oxide also. So here can I write such type of word equation also? Non-metal plus oxygen, understood, forms, let me just write non-metallic oxide. Okay? Now one more thing. This has been the generalized format. Understand? Word equation simple. Metal plus oxygen, metallic oxide. Non-metal plus oxygen, non-metallic oxide. Okay? Now one more thing. If you can remember and remind, we have discussed in chapter number 2, that is acid, base and salt. Can you remember? At that time we have studied that non-metallic oxide. Can you speak before me? Metallic oxides are, can you speak the word? Basic in nature. If you can remember, understand, any metallic oxides are basic in nature. At that time in acid, base and salt, if you can remember, you have been explained that when metallic oxide react with acid, if you can remember, it produces which product? Salt and water, right? So that gives an explanation that when metallic oxide react with acid, it produces salt and water. That means metallic oxide plays the role of base there. So metallic oxides are basic in nature, that we all know. At the same time, you must be knowing non-metallic oxide. If you can remember, when react with base actually, they again form salt and water. That means one thing becomes clear in your mind, that non-metallic oxide react with base and produces salt and water. That means non-metallic oxide plays the role of acid here because it reacts with base. And that's why you can say that non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Understand? Metallic oxide are basic in nature. Non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. This you have to keep in mind. Understand? Non-metallic oxide are acidic in nature and metallic oxides are basic in nature. That you should know. That something like this can be proved also. Generally it happens when I am speaking that metallic oxides are basic in nature. Understand? The one way of proving that fact is that I explain in the chapter 2, acid, base and salt, that whenever any metallic oxide react with acid, it forms respective salt and water. Is there another way to prove that metallic oxides are basic in nature? Generally it happens that generally most of metallic oxides are insoluble in water. Understand? Most of the metallic oxide are insoluble in water. But some of the metallic oxides are exception to that. You should remember this fact very well. Most of metallic oxides are, understand, most of metallic oxides are actually insoluble in water. You understood? They are insoluble in water. Most of the metallic oxide are insoluble in water, but it happens that some of the metallic oxide are soluble in water. Just to mention sodium oxide, Na2O. So sodium oxide, if I just mention the name, So sodium oxide, potassium oxide, both metallic oxide are soluble in water. They can dissolve in water. Our target is to make you understand that either metallic oxides are basic in nature or not. That is what we want to understand in detail. So actually, one way of proving that is we can take the help of neutralization reaction which you studied in acid, base and salt. But another way is that happen that can it happen that you take any metallic oxide and you dissolve it in water and do they form base? If they form base, then simply it is proved that metallic oxides are basic in nature. And regarding base, I do not need to explain because name of all base, if you speak, calcium hydroxide, COH twice, magnesium hydroxide, MgOH twice, calcium hydroxide, COH twice, aluminum hydroxide, AlOH thrice. Understand? Most of the base, name of the base, understand as per the nomenclature, ends with hydroxide. So, if you take sodium oxide or potassium oxide and if you, because they are soluble in water, understand if you just dissolve them in water, just let us write the equation sodium oxide, okay? Suppose you dissolve it in water, H2O, understood? Sodium oxide, water, when you dissolve sodium oxide in water, it forms sodium hydroxide, which is definitely a base. Understand? Equation has already been balanced that you can see. So because like K2O plus H2 also turns out to be 2KOH, potassium hydroxide, because this metallic oxide when dissolves in water, they form one type of base. This is also a proof to explain you that metallic oxides are basic in nature. Understood? And non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Actually, this thing, non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature, can also be proved. One way of proving it, that was you already studied in chapter 2, acid, base and salt. Whenever non-metallic oxide, if you can remember the reaction of calcium hydroxide and carbon dioxide, what it forms? Calcium carbonate and water, salt and water. So that was one way of proving that non-metallic oxides are basic in nature or acidic in nature. Is there another way to prove it? Let us write just here to highlight this. Let us select one non-metallic oxide. Suppose I take carbon dioxide. You all know it's a non-metallic oxide. When carbon dioxide dissolves in water, understand, can you remind, when carbon dioxide dissolves in water, it forms actually carbonic acid H2CO3. If you can remember, this is actually formula of what? Carbonic acid. Understand? And where carbonic acid is found, you all know, in soda water, because soda water is ultimately consisting of carbon dioxide in soluble form in water. Understand? So this is a proof that non-metallic oxides are basic in nature and metallic oxides are non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature and metallic oxides are basic in nature. This has been a proven fact. Understand? Now one more thing which we need to understand, one thing has been clear in our mind, metallic oxides basic in nature, non-metallic oxide acidic in nature. General equation you all know, metal plus oxygen, that is metallic oxide, non-metal plus oxygen, non-metallic oxide. In textbook they have given reaction, but uh, is it necessary to follow that only? They have given when copper, you all know copper reacts with oxygen, it forms copper oxide, Cu2O. So necessary that you write that? No, you can write this also. When sodium react with oxygen, it forms sodium oxide, that is sufficient. When potassium react with oxygen, it forms potassium oxide. When calcium react with oxygen, it forms calcium oxide. So you can write any equation, not necessarily to write that which has been mentioned in the textbook. They also mention that equation which somewhere we studied in chapter number 1. When aluminium is burnt, aluminium reacts with oxygen and form aluminium oxide, Al2O3. That you all know. Understand? My point is that not necessary that you go by that only. When you know that when metal react with oxygen, it form oxide, that means you can take any metal which react with oxygen and form oxide. Non-metal, you can take on any non-metal and you can show equation. You know the formula very well. They are not complicated formula. Understand? So you can write any equation in the support of this word equation. If you want to follow the textbook, it's okay. Cu plus O2 gives Cu2O. Understand? At the same time, Al plus O2. Can you remember? Al2O3. Just balancing, so it's quite easy for you. Okay. So, one fact is clear, metallic oxides are basic in nature and non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Let us enhance this topic. I am just erasing this now. One thing has been clear in our mind that metallic oxides are basic in nature and non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. That has been clear in our mind. Understand? We want to discuss now regarding another type of oxide. Before we move to that, one thing is clear in our mind. What? Metallic oxide means you will write what? Basic in nature. When somebody asks you non-metallic oxide, what you will write? Acidic in nature. This is confirmed. Understand? But are there some metallic oxide which possess both type of nature? Understand? They possess both the type of nature, acidic as well as basic nature. So yes, there are some, but all metallic oxide are not actually that type of oxide. We can call it amphoteric oxide. Let us try to understand this word amphoteric oxide. Okay? What does it mean? What is the meaning of amphoteric oxide? So we can say that amphoteric oxide possess both type of nature. They possess acidic nature as well as they possess basic nature. Both the type of nature they possess. Sometimes they behave as acid, sometimes they behave as base. Understand? That means what? Such oxide, which we call amphoteric oxide, react with both. They react with acid also and they react with base also. Try to understand what I am going to make clear. Amphoteric oxides are those oxides which possess both the type of nature as you know. Either they possess acidic nature or they possess basic nature. Both the type of nature they possess. That means what? Amphoteric oxide can react with acid, can react with base, and after reacting with acid and base, they produces salt and water. Understand? That means what? When they react with acid, they behave as base and form salt and water. When they react with base, understand, they work as acid and form salt and water. So they possess both the type of nature, acidic nature as well as basic nature. Understand, the one thing has been clear in our mind that some oxide, this question we asked also last time in PST as well as in full portion test also. In WST also we asked this question, it can be asked in 2 marks. What are amphoteric oxide? You can write it yourself also, understand, by just the clear understanding of the concept is sufficient for you. How will you explain? Suppose you just write yourself. So, those oxides which possess both type of nature, acidic and basic, are known as amphoteric oxide. Suppose the question has been asked to you in 2 marks. What are amphoteric oxide? So obviously you need to write at least few points, 4 to 5 points are sufficient to explain your answer. What could be your first point? Those metallic oxides which possess both the type of nature, acidic and basic nature, they are known as amphoteric oxide. Then in second sentence you can write, when these oxides react with acid or base, they form salt and water. Mind it one thing here, all metallic oxides are not amphoteric oxide. There are some particular names only, just to mention those names. One is aluminium oxide. Actually, aluminium oxide, understand, you know the formula very well, Al2O3. Aluminium oxide at the same time in reactivity series near metal zinc oxide, that is ZNO. Both possess amphoteric nature. Both are actually amphoteric oxide. Both react with acid as well as base and form salt and water, which always occur during the neutralization reaction. So they are amphoteric oxide. Actually, there is no need to prove that why aluminium oxide is an amphoteric oxide, why zinc oxide is an amphoteric oxide. Understand? You can remember it very easily. You can take any equation, and from that equation you can prove that. In textbook they have given other equation. Is it you do not need to follow the same equation. Understand? You can take equation of zinc oxide also. Suppose you take reaction of zinc oxide with acid, ZNO plus 2HCl give ZnCl2 plus H2O. Salt and water is formed. They have given example of aluminium in textbook. That also you can write. Why I am insisting in chemistry that don't stick to any particular thing. Be varietyful and be diversified. Understand? You can use or you can write any equation here, right? Either you can explain aluminium oxide as amphoteric oxide, or zinc oxide as amphoteric oxide, all are equal. Understand? Suppose we have, because in chapter number 1 we have taken one of the equations, so if you can understand and if you can remember, Al2O3, aluminium oxide, if you can remember, when react with hydrochloric acid. Understand? When aluminium oxide react with hydrochloric acid, it forms aluminium chloride. Understand? And it forms water. If you can remember that. Yadara, you have already done in chapter number 1, that is chemical reaction and equation. Just try to balance the equation. If you can remember, at that time we have started from so at least from 1 to aluminium. Let us make it 2 here. 2 3 is 6 HCl, 6 here. Understand? The equation got balanced, only hydrogen is unbalanced. 3 mukidio, it's all over. You must be remembering that equation. So what happened? Aluminium oxide react with dilute hydrochloric. We will always take dilute because concentrated acid might be causing danger during any experiment in laboratory. Understand? Until and unless required, always the dilution form are adopted. Aluminium oxide reacted with acid and it forms salt and water. So it is obviously here it react with acid, so it behaves as base. Understand? So it is here basic in nature. That though we all know that metallic oxide are basic in nature, but if you mention another equation, if you can remember, Al2O3. This is, I don't remember, suppose we may have done in chapter number 1 or not, but just let us mention. Understand? NaOH. Obviously, reaction of aluminium oxide with base. Actually, this reaction was there in all textbook when we had a topic, extraction of aluminium from aluminium oxide. Understand? At that time sodium hydroxide was used for extracting aluminium metal, but it's not a part of your study. Here so you just have to remember aluminium oxide when react with base sodium hydroxide, it produces one salt, let me mention the name NaAlO2, that is sodium aluminate plus water. Understand? Again the reaction took place between aluminium oxide and base NaOH, and it forms sodium aluminate and water itself. Understand? Balancing becomes quite easier, just you know the heat and trial method. That way also you can try and balance this chemical equation. Just 2, 2, it is enough. Equation got quite balanced. Nothing else is there. Just you concentrate on Al2, place 2 here, and then accordingly you can justify. So here actually what happened, dear student? Try to understand this. What happened actually? Can you tell me? Here, aluminium oxide react with acid and form salt and water. So here it is basic in nature. Here same aluminium oxide reacted with base and form salt and water. So behave as acid. So in both the case, one thing has been quite clear in our mind, that aluminium oxide can behave as acid or base. That's why you can call that aluminium oxide has amphoteric property. It possesses both behavior, acidic as well as basic. Understood? Right? One more thing, as I already sometime we are also discussing this topic, that all metal do not have same reactivity rate. That you all know. Different metals have different reactivity. Some metals are highly reactive, which stand in the top of metallic reactivity series, like sodium, potassium. One thing you should understand, dear student, sodium, potassium are extremely highly reactive metal, and their reaction with oxygen is also highly explosive one. Understand? It may catch fire also, because they are extremely reactive metals, sodium, potassium. So at the same time, some metal are less reactive, least reactive, like suppose copper, understand, platinum, gold. They do not react with oxygen at all, because they are least reactive and they do not react with oxygen at all. Highly reactive metal, their reaction with oxygen is little dangerous also. Enough care is taken, nothing to be worried about, but because their rate of reaction with oxygen is highly explosive, so it can happen that it can cause fire. But some of the metal which are least reactive, understand, like copper, platinum, silver, gold, they do not normally easily react with oxygen. But at the same time, I should mention some of the metal which are middle in the metallic reactivity series, like aluminium, zinc, magnesium, etc. They all exist in the middle in the metallic reactivity series. So this medium reactive metal generally has a tendency to react with oxygen. They normally react with oxygen, and always they possess a layer of oxide on its surface. Understand? That can be called anodizing. Anodizing means this medium reactive metal like zinc, magnesium, aluminium has normal tendency to react with atmospheric oxygen, and as a result form a layer of oxides. Understand? and because that layer of oxide they possess, this layer of oxide does not give them permission to react with oxygen more. But one more thing I should mention, I just spoke the word anodizing. If you have visited some art gallery or some relatives home who likes to demonstrate decorative article in their home or in art gallery, you will see some aluminium articles with attractive color and highly attractive color finish. Actually what they do, they just anodize aluminum. We know aluminum is medium reactive metal, generally react with oxygen and form a layer of aluminum oxide, but that layer is not so thicker. If you want to convert that aluminum article, maybe decorative article or whatever, and you want to give it an attractive finish, its anodizing is a must. How the anodizing is done is quite easy. We just want to make a more thicker layer of oxide on it. So actually aluminum article, understand, electrolysis is done with the help of dilute sulfuric acid, where dilute sulfuric acid act as electrolytic solution and anode is actually the aluminum article. What happens during this when electric current is passed, understand, by dilute H2SO4 oxygen is released and that oxygen reaches to anode, understand, and again it react with aluminum and form a thick layer of aluminum oxide on that aluminum article. After a thick layer of aluminum oxide is deposited on that article, it can be colored easily and can be given an highly attractive color finish to sell in the market. So that is one type of process which we can call anodizing. Understand? Anodizing of aluminum article and aluminum article are already available. One more thing, do iron react with oxygen easily? Never. Iron normally does not react with oxygen, but iron filings, powdered form, immediately react with oxygen. Understand, and catch fire. Okay. So my dear student, we explain you one chemical property, that was reaction of metal and non-metal with oxygen in detail. Understood? So the one chemical property we just explained to you. In that chemical property I told you, do not remember until understand. You need to master the content in such a way and don't stick to only those equations which has been presented in textbook. You can have your own way of generating chemical equation yourself. Understand, not necessarily that you stick to that only, right? The general equation we wrote, metal plus oxygen, metallic oxide, non-metal plus oxygen, non-metallic oxide. Actually in textbook there is no mention of non-metallic oxide anywhere. But we are discussing so that you can compare that metallic oxide are basic, non-metallic oxide are acidic in nature. Any chemical equation you can generate yourself for representing this metal plus oxygen, metallic oxide, any. Non-metal plus oxygen, non-metallic oxide. You can represent any equation. not necessarily that you particularize any those equation given in textbook. You can take any. Then I explain you the amphoteric oxide. It is very important question. What are amphoteric oxide? And you need to remember at least two names which is given in textbook. One is aluminium oxide and another is zinc oxide. Understand? And then you can prove by these two reactions why aluminium oxide possess amphoteric property. You understood this that way? And then I explain you the meaning of anodizing. Understand? And that occurs mostly to create some attractive metal finish to aluminium article. Anodizing can be done. Understand? It is actually in textbook as an information, but we discussed it so that at least when you read, you can, you do not have to go in detail how chemical reaction take place, how anodizing must have been taking place. You just need to have a knowledge of anodizing. Okay? So, my dear student, one chemical property which we just now targeted in our today's lecture number 3, that is reaction of metal and non-metal with oxygen. Actually in textbook the title is what happens when metals are burnt in air, but ultimately it represents the reaction of metal and non-metal with oxygen. Okay. So for today's lecture, thank you very much from Bharat sir.